Okay, guys, welcome to tonight's team call. Melanie and I chatted a while back about this call, and then I kind of lost touch with her, and vice versa. But she's here now, and we're excited. For many of you, I really don't need to introduce Melanie. You know exactly who she is. She's just like the most badass coach ever, 4-time number one in the company, and now you're two, right, this year, which is like, hello, it's 5 years of being just unbelievable and consistent and achieving some crazy results in her business, you guys. And what I love about Melanie is you're just so like, normal is such a bad word to say, but you're just so normal. Like, she's just down to earth, and she's nice, and she's kind, and she's got kids, and she's, doing the daily do just like everybody else. And so, I love that, I love that about you, and that's so relatable to everybody else in this business who's trying to get this going. And I kind of asked her to touch base on consistency, but also allowed her to just kind of figure out what the heck she wanted to talk about at the same time. So I will let you just kind of take it away, do your thing, and then open up for questions at the end.
Sure. Sounds good. How long do I have? So I pace
I
myself.
typically do like a 30-minute call, but it's you. So as long as you want.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Well, hello there. I see Chris Reed is on. Hello there, Chris. I know Chris because we've been on cab together for a while, and I am going to apologize ahead of time. So I have been fighting this cold, and did you guys ever get that like dry cough where you get that tickle in the back of your throat? It just comes out of nowhere and you start hacking. So if that happens, I have cough drops and I have tea sitting beside me. So I will apologize. It actually happened on a live this morning and I was super embarrassed. So I will apologize ahead of time. So guys, I am honored to be here. Thanks so much for having me on your team call tonight. I feel just very honored to be a part of Team Beachbody, to be blessed the way that we've really been blessed over the past 7 years that I have been a part of the company, and have been able to accomplish some pretty awesome things, but also to really meet some great people. And, the topic that I have to chat with you guys about is consistency, but it's also the last week of the month too. So I don't know if you guys are like working on month-end goals. So I'd be more than happy to kind of share with you some of the things that I am doing, even within my team. We can kind of like end with some of those things just to kind of end the month strong. All right. So for those of you that don't know me, I started coaching in 2011, in July of 2011. I have 2 little boys. Landon is going to be 10 in March, and Bryce just turned 8 last Monday. So I started coaching when Bryce was 6 months old. So he knows nothing other than Beachbody in his life. So, and I had started as a challenger. I also did not buy product when I signed up to be a customer. And I think it's really important for people to know that I borrowed Insanity from a neighbor down the street, and it was a burned copy of Insanity. It's the truth. And I went down to the storage room of our basement in our townhouse. We had a 3-bedroom townhouse, and, my kids were really little. And so I didn't want to jump around in the middle of the afternoon whenever they were napping. So I went down to this storage room. I took an old piece of carpet, my laptop, plugged that in, and I would do my workout on this carpet square. And there were like boxes and bins all around me. And so that's where I started. And I didn't even buy Shakeology. My coach let me in without buying product. And so I went through all 60 days of Insanity without ever buying anything from her. And all along she kept saying, Melanie, I think you'd make a great coach. And I was really loving it. I was totally falling in love with the community, but also the nutrition really was a big part of me. Once I realized like how to actually fuel my body, it was just like, I wanted to share it with anybody that would listen. And I had no idea that there was a business opportunity attached to Beachbody. I was completely clueless. And so Nikki was sending me these videos and telling me about this coach opportunity. And, I'd watch them, and every week, she would check in with me, and then she'd send me a video, and she'd be like, what do you think? Like, would this be something you're interested in? And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And I just keep doing my thing. And she kept following up. She probably followed up with me 7 times. We met at Starbucks. She brought this little binder and went through coaching with me at Starbucks one day. And she just kind of kept planting these seeds. And she kept telling me, I think you'd be really good at this. And the more I was going through the journey, the more that I started to create these ideas. I was like, wow, I could write a blog. I think I could really teach people, all the things I'm learning, like how do I go on vacation and stay on track? And, what do I do when, we go to the park or the zoo for the day? Like, how do I pack my food and how do I stay motivated? And what are some, like, I started to think about all these ways that I could teach people. And so my background is psychology and my master's is special education. And so I kind of have that teaching brain. I definitely have that teaching brain. And so for me, it was like my classroom could be my Facebook page. And so I was really watching my coach and I was watching what she was doing. And I thought I could do this. I could do this better. I had all these ideas of what I could do. And I pitched it to my husband and told him that I wanted to sign up to be a coach. And he told me no. He told me no like 3 times. And then finally it was my birthday in July. And so my family always gives me money. And so I just took the money that they gave me and I signed up to become a coach and I bought Shakeology. So that was my first experience with Shakeology, was at the exact same time that I signed up as a coach. And so I signed up and I didn't have an Instagram account. I maybe had 100 friends on my Facebook page and I posted like once, if it was like my kids or when we got our dog or, our anniversary. Like I wasn't a social media person at all. So here I was, right? Stay-at-home mom, knows nothing about building a business, sort of like thrown into this. And so we didn't have any systems. We didn't have any structure. We didn't have a coach training to go through. We had a coach online office and I just like figured it out. I watched every single video that was in the training section of our coach online office. I got on every national wake up call every single Monday without fail, never missed a call, anything. Like I Googled everything. I self-taught myself how to build this business, but I watched other people within our team. And every Monday they would have these team calls and they would say top recruiter, top volume, top success club point earner. And then there would be like income calls where they would talk about the income opportunity and people were like paying off debt and being in the top 10. And all I could think was, we're just barely making ends meet over here, right? Like at the end of the month, when we paid all of our bills, we had $100 left. And if somebody got sick and we had to go to the doctors, that came out of that $100. If we wanted to go on a date or if I wanted to take the kids to, the movies, that came out of that $100. And it was just like all the time money was a stressor. And so I just kept seeing like these successes that people were having. And I just would always say that phrase, like, why not me? Like they look normal. If they can do it, why can't I? And so I went to Summit my first year that I went to Summit. And it really was this light bulb moment where I watched people walk across stage. I went to every single training. I went to every single workout. And I was like, I can do this. I can really do this. And that was the first moment where I really just put my head down and was like, I can do this. And so, for those of you listening right now, I will tell you that I didn't have a fast start. It took me 9 months to get to Diamond. It took me so long to get traction. I wasn't a high Success Club point earner right out of the gate. I didn't even hit Success Club my first month. I hit it my second. I hit 5 and then I hit 10 and then I never ever didn't hit 10. But what I really will say is I'm the consistency queen. People know that about me. They make fun of me on my team about it. I'm also the systems queen. Like I am very organized. I treat my business like number one, like my social media is my classroom. I treat my team. Like I look at what I do, even from day one, when I was trying to fit it into the pockets of my life, I was like, this is my job. This is my job. Like, when am I going to do my job? And so what are the things that what does my job require? It's this. I check this off every single day of my life. Like you can see, I have it checked off right now, right? Like I am 7.5 years into the business and I still do the vital behaviors every single day because it's consistency. And so, anybody, and I wrote this down, like anyone can do something when they really want to do it, but really successful people do things when they don't quite want to do it. And that's sort of my motto. I've watched people come in and out of this business. I've watched people start at the same time as me. I've watched them let life derail them and then they try to come back, and nothing quite matches consistency over time, right? And so if I can tell you one thing, it's like, okay, wherever you are at in your life right now, you have to create structure and routine and consistency amidst the chaos. Right? So I was raising 2 kids. that didn't have the same nap schedule, that still got up in the middle of the night. I was in charge of all of the house cleaning and the cooking the meals and doing the laundry and, everything. Like that was my full-time job. So I had to find these pockets of time. So for me, from day one, and this is something you guys can implement right away, is I created a schedule for myself. So I don't know how many of you have seen this. How many of you have seen Maura's book that she had? Have you guys seen this yet? All right. So I actually love this. And I started using it and I was like, I'm going to use it for a couple of weeks before I decide if I like it or not. She was like, can you give me some feedback? And I was like, well, I can't just look at it. Like I have to use it first. Right. So that's the way my brain works. So usually I would do this on a Google Calendar, but I am going to, it's sold out. No way. I did not know that. All right. So anyways, you can do this on Google, but I'm just going to show you this because this is what I have in front of me. So every single week I sit down and I say to myself, okay, like what do I have to do this week? So it's like Landon has a basketball game. Landon has practice. Bryce has a basketball game. Oh, I have a doctor's appointment on Friday, right? All the things in my life go on this calendar. You can do this with any planner. And then I say to myself, what are going to be my pockets of Beachbody time? And so when the kids were little, I was like, okay, my guaranteed time, if I get up at 5 a.m., I'm guaranteed an hour because they never wake up before 6 o'clock. And if they wake up before the sun is up, I got those room darkening shades and I was like, the sun is not up. You have to go back to bed. And so they would literally stay in bed until the sun came up, right? I mean, I did what I needed to do to get work done, right? But then I also did like this nap time thing where I was like, I'm going to get them on the same nap schedule because if I've got to be home with them all day long, mama needs a break. And so every day at 1 o'clock, we would start this nap time routine and it sucked for a while, but I will tell you, I got them on the same nap schedule, right? Because I was like, you will nap or you will be quiet for at least an hour and an hour and a half. And they would sleep for 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours. And so I would have these blocks every single day from 5 to 6, from 2 to 4, and then from 9 to 11. And so because I had big dreams, right? And so I wasn't just like, kind of sort of going to do this business. I was like, I'm going to do this business and I am going to create an income for my family. And so I'm going to make it happen. And so I would create that every single week, right? I'd go in, I'd say, these are my business hours. And then for me, part of that consistency happened on the weekends. So I knew Matt was home. I communicated with him and I was like, look, on Saturdays and Sundays, you have to get the kids up. You're going to get them breakfast. I'm going to lock myself in a room because how many of you try to work at the kitchen table, on the couch, or at the dining room table where you're easily accessible? And for those of you that have kids, they're going to go to mom, right? They're going to say, Mom, I need a snack. Dad's sitting on the couch watching football. Go ask dad. Nope, they have to ask mom, right? And so for me, I locked myself in a spare room, actually the basement for a while. And I just didn't come up unless Matt was screaming for me that somebody was dying. I figured he could handle it. He could figure it out. And so from 5 a.m. until about 8 every Saturday and Sunday, I would be in the basement doing my work. And so think about that. Joan, you said that's 25 hours during the week. And then the weekends, I was a full-time job. It's a full-time job. Now, I will tell you that there were some days where I found myself sleeping on my desk, right? There were times where I'd be typing and boom, it would happen. I won't ever say to you it was easy, but I had my visions right in front of me. So if you see right behind my computer screen where I'm talking to you is my vision board and it sits there right now. It sits on my desk and I can see it. And so at 5 o'clock in the morning when I wake up today, I looked at that vision board. What am I working towards, right? What do I want? What do I want to accomplish this year? And it drives my behavior because I know that my short-term sacrifices that I'm making now is worth the long-term freedom to choose, right? So, and that's the way I want you guys to look at your business right now. And so, at first, when you first become a coach, you're motivated, you're excited, everything's going great, right? You're pumped about your own results that you're getting. And then along the way, you start getting objections. You start getting rejections. You start saying, nobody's liking my posts and nobody's commenting on anything. And all of a sudden, this really big, excited balloon that you have, it starts to deflate. And so what happens is now it becomes work. And so this is really where a lot of people, they stop being consistent. they're not motivated anymore, and they start making excuses for why it's not working for them. And I see it every single day. I see it in my business all the time. People in their fitness journey, like how many of you, week 3, Transform 20, you're like, dang, this is hard. I'm not losing weight as fast as I want to lose. I've only lost, 3 pounds. This must not, like, people, they flake when it gets hard. They don't want to have to make the decision to eat the salad and not have the cheeseburger. They don't want to make the choice to not have the wine 6 days a week and drink the soda, the seltzer water. Like, that's hard. Changing your life is hard. Building a business is hard too. And so you have to say to yourself, I'm willing to create a habit and a routine now, right? When it's not easy, so that I can build the kind of business that 5 years from now, 7 years from now is going to allow me to choose how I want to spend my time. And so it really is this mindset. So number 1, it's the habit. Like, create the habits now, right? Create the disciplines. What is your week going to look like? What is going to be your slight edge? So your time might not look like mine. You might be a nurse. You might be a teacher. You might have a career where you don't have pockets during the day, but what's going to be that slight edge for you? Is it going to be every night from 9 to 11? Is it going to be every Saturday and Sunday morning? Like, you just have to say to yourself, my situation might be different than Melanie, but I can choose what I'm going to do. So yes, I lived on some coffee. I lived on Energize, and I powered through. But I also think about, I lived my life for about 4 years the way other people were not willing to live their life, so that today I could choose how I want to live my life, right? And so I'm weird, and I'm still super disciplined and super consistent, and I've never let my foot off the gas, right? And I totally could, like, I definitely could, but I just choose not to, because I feel like there's so much opportunity left with Beachbody. And so even now, where I'm at now, I feel like I need to keep creating momentum. I need to keep creating income, because I don't know where I'll be 5 years from now. And I want to make sure that I've financially saved enough so that I don't ever have to go back to a job. I don't ever have to be tied to, I don't have to get a job because I have to. I will always have the choice to be able to do what I want to do. And so that is why I consistently show up the way that I do, is because number 1, I want to help people, and people committed to me, and I don't ever want to let people down that signed up with me, but also I see that big picture thinking. So that's kind of the next thing. Like, I always say to myself, like, big picture thinking in the midst of what you're going through right now. How do you see, like, sticking with it benefiting you? So, like, let's say, for example, in the midst of you getting 100 objections this month, or 100 different people are ignoring you and are not following or not answering your messages. You feel like your posts aren't getting any traction. You're sort of in the midst of this mess, right? And I remember that first year where other people were getting wild and crazy traction and I wasn't. And so I kept saying to myself, stick with it, right? What you do consistently over time is going to build results. Like, it's the small, seemingly insignificant task. Post, invite, follow up, create value, create more value, give more away than you receive. And so every day, that's what I would think about. And I'm like, man, this sucks. I'm getting a lot of objections. But I would say to myself, some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? And I just keep moving on, right? I would just keep saying, okay, you didn't answer me back. Fine. I'm going to follow up with you next week until you either tell me to take you off the list or you're going to join me, right? And then if somebody told me no, I would turn it into a game. So in the moment where it was kind of like messy, I was like finding these ways to say, the big picture, Melanie, it's the earning that Success Club trip. It is paying off that student loan debt. Find a way to get these people to at least say yes to something. So maybe it's follow up with me next month, or I want to be in a free group, or I want to try the 3-day refresh, or I want to do the sampler pack of Shakeology. Like, I would find a way and I would make it a game. So in the midst of the struggle of growing my traction, of growing my audience, I made it a game. I just made it a game, but I never, not once, let the defeat of so many no's let me down, because I knew that every time I got a no, every time that I just knew it was like a no, not right now, and a no, not forever. And so that sort of mindset, right? That kind of mindset, that drives, that allows you to become better at what you're doing. So I teach it to my team like this. I say, think about, you're trying to ride a bike. You're learning to ride a bike for the very first time. When you get on a bike, it's kind of like inviting. The first time you go to invite, you like overthink it, right? You overthink it. You think about, is this person going to think I'm trying to sell to them? Is this person going to ignore me? What are they going to think about me? And you're thinking about all these parts. How do I not give too much information? How do I make sure I give just enough? Am I asking enough questions? Did I give them the link? Did I explain it? And so it's like riding a bike. You get on a bike for the first time and it's like, I have to balance, I have to steer, I have to pedal, I have to make sure I don't run into the mailbox. And so you're thinking about all of these things, right? All at one time. And what happens is we fall off the bike. And if you're like my son, he ran into the mailbox at least 3 times, right? At least 3 times. But what do we do to our kids? We don't just put the bike in the garage and say, you're not meant to ride this bike. Like, let's just go back to the tricycle. We say, get on the bike. You can do it. Keep practicing. And so if we want our kids to ride a bike fast, we practice all day long for every single day over and over and over again, right? And so what happens is over time, they get on the bike, they pedal, they balance, they steer, and they don't run into the mailbox, right? And so it's kind of like coaching. That's what we do with inviting. If you only are going to invite once a week, you're never really going to get good at it. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to invite every day, I'm going to post every day, I'm going to follow up every day, or whenever it's scheduled into your calendar, you're going to get better at it faster. So I just invited more than anybody else. I just posted more than anybody else. I just showed up all those extra hours when everybody else was sleeping. I'm no better than you. I just showed up and was consistent. I did more live videos than anybody else, right? So if you were to go back on YouTube to 2011 and watch my first YouTube, you would see I've come a long way in my speaking ability. And not because I took speaking classes, but because I practiced, because I showed up, because I didn't do it once in a while. I did it every single day. So treat your business like riding a bike. If you only get on your bike once a week, you're never really going to master the art of riding a bike. If you only invite once a month, you're never really going to get good at it. All right. So that's another just piece of you to sort of think about. The next thing is, and I always say this to myself, that I will delay instant gratification for long-term success. So as a new coach, I wrote this on a piece of a note card, and it's somewhere in my office. I took it down when we moved, but I hung it there, and I would read that to myself. I will delay instant gratification for long-term success. So for me, instant gratification came in taking a nap. When I wanted to take a nap, right? Instant gratification came when that alarm would go off in the morning and I really wanted to sleep in and it was cold and it was dark and I didn't get a very good night's sleep. I will delay instant gratification for long-term success. When I didn't want to do my workout, I would repeat that. When I was watching everybody else buy things with these paychecks that they were getting, I was like, I will delay instant gratification. I will save it. I will pay off my loan so I can have long-term success. Like I applied that principle to my life over and over and over again, and it has served me so well. It has taught me to be smart in all areas. It has taught me to hustle. It has taught me that success isn't always pretty, but it's worth it, right? It is worth it to reach the goals and to have that freedom. All right, the next thing is, for me, what does consistency look like for me? So I talked a lot about inviting and behaviors, but I'm going to tell you that consistency looks like running a challenge group every single month, whether I want to or not. Consistency to me means when a new product launches, I always lean into the launch. I have a launch strategy. I try to double and triple my Success Club points when a launch happens, right? Consistency for me is I advertise for coaching in my stories on my feed at least 3 times a week. Consistency to me means that I do a coach, I do a team call every single week. Consistency to me is I run a new coach training every single month, and I host a call every single Monday at 12 o'clock for my new coaches every single week for 6 years, right? Consistency for me is Success Club is the standard, and I host power hours and I give information, and whatever I'm doing, I copy and paste it into my team page. Consistency to me is like I show up like I want my people to show up, because I know that most of the time, most people will meet me halfway. So if I want my people to hit Success Club 5, I have got to be hitting Success Club 15. If I want my people to hit Success Club 10, I got to at least be hitting 25 to 30. Like your people do half usually. Sometimes you get those people that, you know, really just outdo it. But for the most part, what I want my people to do, I need to double that, right? That's the way I look at it in this business. So I am showing up like I want them to show up. And I guarantee you, like if I don't show up, when I go on vacation, they're like, party. They're like, Melanie's not here. We don't got to invite all week long. Like, even though they know I'm going to come back and be like, dude, what'd you guys do? They're going to do it while I'm not there. So, you know, I know that I'm the pacer. I'm the pace car in this business, and they're going to follow. Right? And I do that with leadership, like how I want them to lead. I lead by example. I lead the way I want them to lead. I show them, I teach them. Like I'm very hands-on with what I do. So it's consistency every single month. Guys, I still treat it like a business. It is a business, and I'm always thinking about how do I scale it? How do I make it bigger? How do I give it depth? How do I create leaders? And that starts with me doing the work from the ground. And I couldn't just skip to that point. I had to do all the things I did along the way in order to have to navigate this messy middle to be able to teach my team how to do what I want them to do. All right. So as you can tell, it's not glamorous, but it sure as hell is effective. And if you want to be a really awesome rock star coach and crush all of your goals this year, you have to lean into this concept of consistency. And the one thing you cannot say to yourself is you can't say, I'm bad at time management. You can't say, I'm bad at creating routine. You can't say, I'm a squirrel. You can't use excuses, all right? Because guess what? Every day you get to choose what you focus on. And if you focus on the fact that you're disorganized, or you focus on the fact that you're a squirrel, or you focus on the fact that you're bad at recruiting, where you put that focus, that's what's going to happen, right? And so I have learned to say, like, stop using that as an excuse. You get to choose. You get to choose. So if you're bad at creating routine, before you go to bed tonight, make your to-do list. Figure out what your work hours are going to be tomorrow. Go out and talk to your significant other and say, look, these are my goals. This is what I need help with. This is how you can support, and define help. Like, Matt, I need you to help me this week because I have really big goals. It's the last week of the month. So help means I need you to put the kids to bed every single night this week, right? I need you to do nighttime routine. And I am going to lock myself in the bedroom until I get these Success Club points. And on Thursday at midnight, it's the end of the month, and we will hang out and have a great time this weekend. I'll even get a babysitter, and we'll go out for dinner Friday night, all right? So, like, celebrate. Like, let them know, help. This is what help means to me. This is how I need you to support me. And then this is how we're going to celebrate it. And then when you lock yourself in the bedroom, because your husband agrees to help you for the next couple of nights, you're going to walk out of that bedroom and say, I accomplished my goal. You're not going to walk out and say, I played on Facebook. I watched 30 minutes of Insta stories. I checked it to see what everybody else is doing to get inspiration. Like, you're going to go in there and you're going to do work, right? So I'll give you an example. So tonight, Matt was like, I'm going to take the boys to basketball practice, and we're going to go get haircuts. And I was like, they're going to be gone for an hour and 30 minutes. So I was like, all right. I cleared off my desk, and I was like, I'm going to do all of my follow-ups. I did all my follow-ups to people that were interested in coaching. I did all of my follow-ups to people that were interested in my challenge group. I went through my poll on Instagram, and everybody that said they were interested and wanted more information, I sent them like a copy and paste, same message. And if you voted on my poll, I sent you a message, because I don't filter if it's a coach or not. But I asked the question, are you a coach or working with one? And about half of them say they are a coach. And I'm like, why do you fill out my poll? I'm like, stop it. Like, you can view my stories, just you're creating more work for me. Sorry. Totally side note. But anyways, but I spent an hour and a half doing real work, like real work that mattered. I'm running a sneak peek right now. And I'm like, why is nobody seeing? Are you guys seeing this like in your sneak peeks on Facebook? Like, nobody's seeing your videos. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let this defeat me. So I sent every single person a private message that I added to that sneak peek. And I was like, hey guys, there's 2 more live videos going up later on tonight. Here's the link to the Facebook group. I noticed that nobody is seeing the messages, and Facebook's really weird. So I want to make sure you have the link. You can go back in. And I just copied and pasted that to every single person. And I used my little tracker here, right? And there's my list. I have my list of all my people. And the ones that are highlighted in blue are the ones that have signed up. So I'm going to get this to be a lot more blue by the end of the week. So that's my game plan. So that I did that for an hour and a half, like sent all of these messages, did all my follow-ups, and then I got on this call. Because I knew that if I needed to be productive in my business today, I needed to do the work that matters. Not scrolling for 30 minutes, not cleaning the kitchen, not putting away the dishes. I had an hour and 30 minutes to myself with nobody in the house. I crushed out some serious business time, right? So that's what, like, creating that routine, you know, even if you write in your time blocks what you're going to do, that'll also help you a lot as well. All right. Okay, so the last thing that I just want to say is life is going to happen to you, and you have to be consistent through the mess. So some of the thing, and I kind of said this earlier, is, you know, I watch people go through big life altering circumstances, right? Like a divorce or, you know, loss of a family member or the loss of a job, or, you know, you get really sick, or you like break a bone or something, right? Like something that would like take you out for a little while. And so the one thing that I just always say to myself is, like, going through a hard time, I really lean in. So instead of pushing away from Beachbody, like, we are, and I get goosebumps when I talk about this, I'm like, we are a family, right? You don't even have to be on like my team, or you don't have to be on Joan's team. Like, we're going to root for you. We're going to sweat for you. We're going to be there for you when like crap hits the fan, right? And so instead of pushing the community away and putting up a wall and saying, I'm just not going to do my business, lean into that. Like, when I'm going through stuff, I want to be in there with my challengers. I want to be encouraging them. I want to be on, like, people lift me up. People lift me up. And so we had this, you know, I had to have surgery about 4 years ago. I couldn't work out for 8 weeks, right? For 8 weeks. And that was the year I went top 10, because I was like, all right, if I'm going to be stuck on this couch and I can't pick my kids up and I can't move and I have to be in this recliner, I am going to sit here and I'm going to message everybody and I'm going to find old pictures and I'm going to write posts and I'm going to do stuff. And that was the year that I was number 2 before I went top coach, because for 8 weeks I was like stuck in a chair. And so I didn't wallow in it. I didn't sleep. I didn't watch reruns of the Friends, you know, or The Office. Like, I did work during that time. I didn't use it as an excuse. And I think a lot of times we say, oh my gosh, something really bad's going on in my life. I have to just shut down. And instead I leaned in, right? We have a coach on our team right now. Her son is going to have this massive surgery for, thank God it's a benign tumor, right? But it like wraps up around his eye and it goes down around the base of his neck, and he's going to have this 20-hour surgery. And she went into our Diamond page last week and she was like, guys, I don't know how to get through this. And she was like, I need your help. And so all of a sudden, all my Diamond coaches were like, I lost my son last year and this happened to me. And they all started talking about how during this really difficult time, the only thing that kept them going was their Beachbody business, was their workouts, was their nutrition, because it was what they could control. And so as you go through life, stuff is going to happen to you that you can't control. And you know what? Your routine might not look perfect. Your consistency might not be spot on, but lean into what this business has to offer you in times of struggle, because it is like life changing. It will lift you up and get you through the hardest times of your life. And so I just want to tell you that we have something special here with Team Beachbody. We are just a totally different breed of business owners. And this business can really not only give you financial freedom, it can give you that significance that you're looking for. It can give you a family. And so I just want you guys to know that that's why I show up. That's why I do my job, is because I never know when that invite, that post, that is going to change somebody's life. And so just think about that. You have a gift to offer every single day, and we are being selfish if we do not go out there and share that with people. And I know it's a hard job, and I know it's not easy, but there is no business out there that is ever going to be easy. There is no easy button to life and to achieving the success that you want to have. So I'm going to leave you with that right now. And I hope that that was powerful. And I really hope that that gave you some food for thought, and the things that I shared have given you just some some inspiration to be able to go out there and create your own consistency and habits. So yes. All right. Questions. Good. I see the comments and I see that this was really helpful.
Mic drop. I'm literally going to take this call and put it into our training as like one of the first things people need to watch, because that was amazing. You guys, if you do have questions, type them right in here. I know everybody's just saying that you're amazing. Good thing mine doesn't eat with containers. This is great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a question for you. So when you're getting, since it is the end of the, the month, and we have like a bunch of new builders on our team. I know there's a bunch of new builders on this call. Number one, what are you teaching your newest recruits to do to recruit others? Mm-hmm. And then, what was my second question? I'll figure it out while you talk.
Okay. So I'm kind of going through this right now with them. So I'm trying to help my newest coaches hit Success Club this month, right? So one of the things that I really talk to them about is, number one, when they launch their business, right? I want them to when they launch their business, I don't want them to say like, I want them to talk about their why. What was your reason? What was your vision for becoming, a health and fitness coach? But don't say Beachbody. Don't say what program you're doing, right? Don't say, join me, I'm running a challenge group. Just tell people your vision. Like, I just started this new business. This is why I decided to start the business. This is who I want to help. This is, this is how I'm going to share it with you. This is where you can find me. Follow me, right? And then I always say, like, if you want to know what I'm doing, drop me a comment or send me a private message, right? And so I get them to like launch it. So that's kind of step one. But then for my new coaches and anybody, I'm like, your goal is to create the best success story of life. So I'm like, you take your before photos, you do your measurements. It is your job to get a transformation with this fitness program, right? Whatever you so choose. And so I'm like, day one, you're going to take your before photos, and I'm like, tight outfit, sports bra, shorts. I go, or tank top and shorts, but nothing baggy, full photo. And then every 7 days, you are going to update your progress photos with the same exact outfit. And so I say, it is your job to every single week to talk about your transformation. So every single Sunday, actually Monday, I start to prep them. I'm like, okay, tomorrow's Transformation Tuesday. You're going to share. And I have a group message thread with all my new coaches. And so I share mine. So every week I write my story and I share it. And I say, like, this week I'm coming at it from an emotional perspective. This week I'm coming at it from a nutritional perspective. This week I didn't lose anything on the scale, but I lost like 3 inches, or this week I nailed my nutrition, right? And I talk about that every week. I teach them, your job is to get a transformation with the fitness program, and you're just going to share that journey. So that's kind of number one. And then I say, everybody that likes or comments or views your stories, you're going to send a message to. So your content, right, is really kind of like you kind of getting people to understand what you're doing and what you're putting out there. And so I try to say, like, teach. Your job is to teach on your social media. Give tips. What's working for you? Are you focused on water this week? Are you focused on positive self-talk? That becomes your content. And then as people are viewing your stories and you're sending these invites, hey, Joan, I saw you were viewing my stories. Are you on your health and fitness journey too? That's a great segue into an invite. Or, if I notice somebody's liking my post and I send them an invite, what are people automatically going to do? They're going to go look at your feed, right? So before they ever respond back to you, they're going to look at your stories. They're going to look at your feed. They're going to decide whether or not you're legit. So if all you have on your Instagram or your Facebook is like your cat and pictures of your kids and like a random picture of yourself working out, I don't really look at you as somebody that I want to work with, because you're asking me to be in a health and fitness group and I don't see a transformation. I look at your stories and it's like, there isn't anything there. Like, I can't find any information about you. I'm not going to respond back to you. So your feed, right? Your feed and your stories, that's sort of like your magazine, right? That's what people are looking at. So for you guys, make sure you've got content once a day, at least once or twice a day on your newsfeed, and at least 7 to 10 stories. But the secret sauce is the invites. So you have to invite every single day. The other thing I do with new coaches is I'm like, who's on your dirt list? I got the dirt list concept from Danielle Natoni, right? So that's where I got that from. And so when she said that, she's like, who would buy dirt off of you? And I said it today. It's the last week of the month. I was talking to my new coaches and I was like, guys, you've spent all 28 days of the month trying to get people to commit. If you don't have people, who is your dirt list, right? Your mom, she's going to buy dirt off of you, right? Because she loves you. So mom, you're going to buy a 21-day fixed challenge pack. And I'm going to text you every day and we are going to do this program together. And can I use your results? Like, will you let me, can we take pictures and can I use them? Because I need something, right? I need a success story in my pocket to be able to talk about. I went to my sister-in-law, right? She was like, I'll do whatever you're doing, right? So, okay, sister-in-law, that's 4 Success Club points, and husband. So I said this to my coaches today. I was like, you will sign your husband up. You're on this call because you're a business building coach. Your spouse should have the highest spot in your organization. I go, now, I didn't have any money when I signed up, right? So I had to be very strategic about how I was going to swing this past Matt and make it like we were making out on the deal, right? And so I was like, look, we're going to buy a 3-day refresh challenge pack, right? I'm going to do the 3-day refresh. I'm going to sell 5 of these with my own story. That was my goal. I'm going to buy the Shakeology packets and then I'm going to package them up in like 5-day packets or samples. And I typed up a 1-page Word document about how to use Shakeology and drink it in my favorite recipes. And then I sold them as packets. So not only did I get 2 Success Club points, but I got the commission for the Coach Challenge pack, right? Then I sold all the packets. So that helped cover my cost. And then I sold some refreshes. So I recuperated my cost. I didn't just sign Matt up, but I was like, I'm going to sign him up and then I'm going to make this work for me. And so if you're a business building coach, you should be thinking that way. You should be thinking strategically about how do I create a business? How do I create more income off of what I just purchased? Right? So that was how I made that work for me. So I said that and I was like, guys, you're going to go back through and you're also going to follow up with every single person you have talked to this entire month right now. And so tonight I copied and pasted, like when I was doing my follow-ups, I said, this is exactly what I said. Copy, paste, done. I was like, this is what I sent to my, challenge prospects, done. And I just gave it to them. I was like, these are the stories I posted on Instagram, copied and pasted. You can even use them if you want, right? Here's the poll that I did. Here's what I sent to all those people in the poll. So I, as the leader, copy paste every single thing I do because people sometimes just need to hear it, right? They just need to hear it once and then they're like, oh, I can do that. So that's kind of what I encourage you guys to do. If you're brand new, that's the way I would mentor you.
That's awesome. It also makes me feel good because I just did the same exact thing on Friday night with my new coaches that are in a pod. So
yep.
Let me ask you this. What is, and this is such a hard question, at least for me it is, but what's your favorite personal development book for yourself? And then what's your favorite one to recommend to your new coaches?
Okay, for myself, I love Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. My favorite book. Actually, I'm doing a book club with my leaders right now because she has a workbook that you can do with them because our business is communication, right? Like a huge part of we're communicating with our clients, we're communicating with our coaches, we're trying to develop leadership. And that for me, number one, I'm a people pleaser. And I have a really hard time with conflict. And it has given me an immense amount of courage to have very difficult conversations and feel good about it, knowing that it's okay if somebody doesn't like what I have to say. I would say in the past 2 years since reading that book, I have totally taken a turn in the way that I just run my business. So I would say that's my favorite. I would say for new coaches, I still recommend The Compound Effect. But I will say, what's another one that I really like? Oh, Get Over Your Damn Self by Rami Newstat. She's also in network marketing. That's a really good one. I think for women, especially, like we get in our own heads. I think that's an awesome book. I use GoPro because that's like an old tried, like tested book that really works really well. But I would say most women, I guess most coaches in general, like their own self-limiting beliefs is what prevents them from being successful. So I would say like Compound Effect made me understand how the business structure runs. Like you've got to show up every day. So I needed that part of it. But then I needed like You're a Badass by Jen Sincero or Girl Wash Your Face because those allowed me to like be like, okay, like I can do this, and kind of like that's negative self-talk. So I would say like those are some of my favorites that I recommend.
Awesome.
How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. I never heard of that book, but I might have to check that out because I like the title.
Oh my God, How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. I know, I'm writing it down too.
That's awesome.
Any other questions, you guys? I only wrote down a couple that I had, but I think that was it for me too. This is an amazing call. Thank you so much for your time. And I think that this is like a perfect call for people who are new, but was also a really great call for people who've been around for a bit and need that like gentle reminder of like, you still can do this and you know, that sort of thing. So thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
You guys are so welcome. Thanks for having me. See, and I didn't even cough, so it was all good.
You didn't cough. You did a good job. We'll see you on the cruise.
I will see you there. My whole family. I might look like a hot mess because I'm trying not to lose my children, but I will be there. They will probably, last cruise we took them on, they were underneath of the ice cream machine. Do you guys know that kids ice cream machine that's right by the kiddie pool? I think they ate ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they're already talking about it.
I told Ryan I didn't eat ice cream at all last time, and so it's like one of my goals is now to join your kids and just sit there and eat ice cream all
There you
day.
go. They'll be there. They will permanently have a bowl and sit there with ice cream. Guaranteed.
If I lose Joan, I'll just try to find your kids and they'll be together.
Yes.
There you go. I will be at the kiddie pool the whole time.
All right. Thank you so much. Have an awesome night. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.